Welcome back to the channel. Brendan here, aka Cliff Jumper, and yes indeed we are back on the Jetta project after a very long hiatus, or I should say we're on one of the Jetta projects because we also have this one sitting here waiting for attention. But right now we are doing the clutch in my daughter's 1.8 turbo Mk4 Jetta. It's a 5-speed manual, and it's been a very, very long time since I've done a clutch. Let's do this. Just for comparison's sake, here is old and busted. That's the old roasted clutch, and yeah, pretty bad. Here is the new pressure plate, all shiny, new clutch, lots of material. I'm not going to flip over the top of the pressure plate yet with fingers because I need to put this on the car and then get that aligned and, you know, do the whole assembly thing. So let's get to it. If you've never done this before, you're going to want to notice that there are two of the bolts that are closer together than the others. That is your key point to start with so that you line it up correctly. And this thing does weigh about 22 pounds, so lining it up quickly is definitely going to be of benefit to you. Just going to get them started, at least a couple of them, before we do any ugga-duggas. Do not want to cross thread any of these. That would be a very bad day. Now on some clutches, there's a different pinpoint that this has to line up on. I mark mine even if it's equally spaced. So this one's marked with 2 lines, that's what, 1, and this one's got 3, so I can find the matching spots and put it back onto the pressure plate in its proper orientation.
20 minutes later.
We are at the exact halfway point with the clutch. The clutch is installed. I am waiting for my friend to come back to help me hoist the transmission and get that back in place. While I'm waiting on him, I'm taking care of some other things that are easily accessible with the transmission out of the way. So I'm looking at the turbo stuff, looking at the lines going to it, just doing some maintenance. Continuing along with small jobs we can do while we're waiting for my friend to come over to help stab the transmission. I'm changing this fuse block over. It's got some pretty serious corrosion in the positive wire, so that's not good. We're gonna go ahead and swap this whole thing out for a shiny brand new one. Nice shiny new air filter in also while we're in here. I mean, we get all this stuff out anyway, and it's time. So my buddy that is supposed to be here has not shown up and has gone communications dark, which is unfortunate, but I'm gonna see what I can do about getting this in myself just using the jack. It's awkward and heavy, and I honestly, I don't know if I will be successful with this, but I'll give it a try. So it's back in the right orientation clockwise, but as I try to lift it, the diff is getting hung up on the subframe there. So while I'm jacking it, I really need someone to steady the transmission and keep it lined up. Hence why you need a second pair of hands on this if you don't have a lift and a transmission jack. So I'm gonna see if I can get a hold of my friend and see where he's at.
20 minutes later.
Well, I guess I'm coining a new expression here maybe, but when you don't have the right friends to help you, you use the wrong tools the right way. So this is what I'm doing. I've took some straps, I've strapped that to the transmission, I'm lifting it from here while at the same time I'm using two jacks to support it from underneath, and also having to use the pry bar to get it around stuff down there. But we're making progress even though I'm doing it by myself, so I'm not really happy with the scenario, but making do. So hopefully we'll have this stabbed onto the engine here pretty shortly. That's the goal. got it so close now. I've got this thing up, sort of in place, clocked properly, but of course it's still not perfectly lined up. So I've got to swing this thing forward to get it to be able to stab into position. And man, this is hard to do by yourself. So yeah, not a one-person job.
2 hours later.
Hey everyone, back on the Jetta project. And great news, my friend showed up and we were able to I kid you not, I knew it was only gonna take like 5 minutes. It seriously took like 2 minutes to get the transmission aligned and stabbed and in place. And so it is in place, it's bolted in, and now we're going around putting everything back that needs to be. So we still need to do the axles and put the suspension back underneath here. I just attached the slave cylinder and the speed sensor and the shifter cables, and now we need to get in here and do all the wiring. But we're well on our way, probably about an hour of work left to do to get everything all back together and have the car be running and driving. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, we're not done with the Jetta to get it actually on the road at that point. We still, after we do the front suspension and put this back together, this will be back on the ground. Then I need to return to the back suspension. You may recall that I was having issues with the FK coilovers on here and the car being just way too low to do what it needs to do. So we are switching on a GLI suspension. That's H&R springs with Bilstein shocks. And so I've done the front and I need to do the back. That should not take very long. So we'll wrap up the front and then get to the back, but we are on the home stretch. Thank you very much to my friend Jeff Diaz for coming out and helping me wrestle this into submission. Really appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. And we will tune back in. I have a bit of work to do, so let me get to putting it back together.
And on that terrible disappointment, it's time to say goodbye. We'll be back.